Hello, it's Iain from RTO and welcome to another classic album review. And today we have got a classic. Well, they're all classics, but this one's a real classic. This sort of came from a discussion we had on the live stream a few weeks ago about doing some more soundtracks and music from films and etc. So I've sort of started off with this one, Tommy by The Who. It was the fourth album released by The Who in 1969, and most of the album was composed by guitarist Pete Townshend, and this was the make or break album for The Who. If they'd have got this one wrong, I don't think they'd be still here today. The record company, they'd had some sort of mild success, but the record company was getting on their back. So he came up with Tommy, which of course is a rock opera and tells the story of Tommy Walker, a deaf, dumb, blind boy, including his experiences with life and his relationship with his family. Pete Townshend came up with the concept of Tommy after being introduced to the work of Meera Baba. And he attempted to translate his teachings. The album took over 6 months to complete, and on release it was acclaimed as was hailed the breakthrough for The Who. Its critical standing is diminished slightly in later years, and nonetheless several writers view the importance of an influential album in the history of rock music. AllMusic gave it nearly 5 stars, Popular Music 4 stars, Music Hound Rock 4 out of 5, Q 4 out of 5, Rolling Stone even gave it 4 out of 5. On the album charts it did very, very well. Got to number 4 on the Billboard. Got to number 2 on the UK album charts, and then they re-released it in 1975 and it still managed to get to number 37. Double platinum in America, gold in France, Italy, New Zealand and the UK. So it's doing well. Obviously the players on there are Mr. Roger Daltrey on vocals and harmonica, Mr. Peter Townshend vocals, guitar, keyboards and banjo, John Entwistle bass, French horns and vocals, and the one and only Mr. Keith Moon on the drums, of course. Okay, opens up with that overture. I like the overture on this. Gives you a bit of a preview of what's coming up, doesn't it? Nicely put together, absolutely brilliant. Then we get It's a Boy. It's one of them, like the little delicate guitar bits and Pete Townshend on this, and It's a Boy. It's quite a catchy little thing. Then we get 1921. Nothing wrong with this one. It just continues the story. This is an album. There's not many tracks on this album that you can just sit down and put on. You've got to listen to it all to get into the feel of this. Then we get Amazing Journey. Love Roger Daltrey's vocal on this. Again, Keith's drumming is pretty cool, like that. Then we get a track that you can sort of listen to on its own. It's called Sparks. It's that instrumental. Keith's drumming on this is just fantastic. What a drummer he was. One of my favourite drummers. He was all arms and legs, but it was a bit of a showman, but he was still a solid drummer. The Hawker. This is a little song co-written by Sonny Boy Williamson and Daltrey. Again, I like this track. The lyrics are quite weird, and you can play this without listening to the rest of the album. Then we go on to side 2, and we got Christmas. Love the start of this. This is that classic sort of sounding Who track that we come to love. It's got that nice rocky bit in the middle. I do like it. Really, really good track. Cousin Kevin. I like the harmonies in this. Really good. And of course the great drumming of Mr. Keith Moon. Then we get one of my favourite tracks on this album, The Acid Queen. Love the guitar work here from Pete. It's a solid track. Tina Turner's covered it, did a great version as well. I do like this. Then we get another instrumental called Underture. This just shows the versatility of Pete Townshend and his creative mind. Really good. And then you've got the musicianship of Keith, John and Peter playing together. That great little track, and I love that piece of music. Really do. One of my favourite pieces. Then we go to side 3, and Do You Think It's Alright? Just a short track, very short. Nice harmonies from the chaps. Nothing wrong with that one. Then we get Fiddle About. Short, quirky, little heavy piece actually. For 1.5 minutes it's quite heavy. Which goes straight into that iconic acoustic guitar and the big power chord. We're talking about Pinball Wizard, of course. Great track, one of my favourite tracks by The Who. And there's not much you can say about that. It's just a fantastic track. There's a Doctor, 25 seconds of nonsense. Yeah. But then we get my favourite track on here, Go to the Mirror. I love this. Always been one of my favourite tracks by The Who. I love that riff and that sort of very catchy tune. Very hook, got this hook that really gets into your head. Brilliant track and a great vocal from Roger on that. Then we get Tommy, Can You Hear Me? One of these short tracks. Love the acoustic guitar in this. Nice harmonies in that as well. Smash the Mirror. It's such a shame this is not a longer track because it's a really good piece of music. Love the guitar arrangements on that. It is fantastic. I think if that was longer it'd be a classic Who track. Sensation. It's not my favourite, one of my favourite pieces on the album, but it's when you listen to it in the big picture, it has to be there. Side 4 then. Miracle Cure, just 10 seconds. Serves a purpose, I suppose, on the album in the big picture. Then we get really nice song, Sally Simpson. Love this. Really catchy tune and a great vocal from Roger. I'm Free. Really love that track as well. Really into that track. I love some of these tracks on side 4. Welcome. Another great track. You've got spoken word from John Entwistle, and he's got them lovely dulcet tones he had. Pretty cool track. And then you get the tomfoolery of Tommy's Holiday Camp. Keith Moon and Pete having just one hell of a crack on that. It's funny and I like it. And then we get another brilliant track to end the album, We're Not Gonna Take It. Beautiful drumming here from Keith. Strong bass riff from John Entwistle. With them nice little strong power chords of Pete Townshend, and of course Mr. Dolce's dulcet tones. Classic song by The Who in my books. If it wasn't for this album, of course, The Who were finished. They took a huge gamble and it paid off. Again, one of the best double albums that's out there, and it's got some fine songs on it, some classic songs. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 9.6. But where would it sit in a full album ranking? Who knows? If you want to find out, you know the drill by now. So that's all for today. I'll be back tomorrow where we have got, I think, part 5 of the Paul McCartney story. And we're looking at a little project he did called The Fireman. And in part of that show tomorrow, we're going to look at another side of Paul McCartney as well. So join me for that one. And then tomorrow's retro ranking is a continuation of Rolling Stones. It's the UK single releases, and I'm going to rank the songs in the order that I like. So join us for that. Have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.